to another Oxygen Google Hangout, and tonight we are chatting with Best Ink judge Sabina Kelley. Hi, Sabina.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Super excited to be here and really excited about the season premiere of Best Ink season 2.
Yes. Yeah, so Best Ink season 2 has just finished airing. Sorry, I stuttered there.
Yep.
On the East Coast. Now, Sabina, you're not on the East Coast, however. Tell everybody where you are and what you're up to tonight, because you just got back from a really fun party.
I did. I'm actually in Vegas right now, where I live. Just went to a premiere party with DJ, who's on the show. They're all there still partying. I had to kind of sneak out real quick so I could come do this Google Hangout.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. So here we are.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Well, I should say just joining me, because it's just you and me,
Yeah,
really.
just joining you.
Yeah, just you and me. I'm in New York City at the Oxygen headquarters, so we're doing like, a bi-coastal hangout here. We're really high tech here at Oxygen. Yeah.
Where's my drink?
Yeah, I know. That's right. If I weren't working, I would have a drink here.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask you, tonight the episode just finished airing, and you were with DJ, who actually won tonight's challenge. And I've only seen the first episode. A lot of people think, oh, you work at Oxygen, you know everything that's going to happen. And I'm like, no, I don't. My favorite thing is to watch the episodes as it's going on, so I know what's happening.
Right.
But I thought DJ's story was so amazing. He has such an interesting backstory, and I'm definitely rooting for him this season. So what is he like sort of off camera? If you guys were hanging out, is he a nice guy?
Incredible artist. Absolutely incredible. I mean,
Cool.
He's probably the most experienced artist that we have on the show. His work, it'll just blow you away, honestly. And he's real quiet and shy, very humble, good person. I mean, on and off camera. So he's definitely someone to root for.
That's awesome. Yeah, just one episode in, I have my little favorites written down. I'm like, I like this guy. I like what he's up to.
Who are your favorites so far? I'm curious.
Oh, geez. Okay, so so far, obviously I'll get to know each contestant, as the series continues. I'm not like a tattoo person, so I'm really excited to get into this experience. But I definitely really like DJ, and I also thought Tyler was really funny. He seemed to have a great personality.
Right.
I really liked him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to.
Model.
Yeah, and that too. He's looking really good on camera, so that's part of it too.
Right.
Before we go on, I also want to mention, if you're watching from home or on your iPad or iPhone or wherever you are, if you want to ask Sabina a question or add a comment about tonight's episode, use hashtag BestInkHangout, and we will be looking at that hashtag, and you can use that on Google Plus or Twitter. And, Sabina will answer your questions and talk to you, and sort of, whatever you want to say about tonight's episode or Best Ink in general, we will get to those. So speaking of which, Sabina, we asked some people on Facebook if they had any questions for you, and if you don't mind, I have a couple of questions for you.
Let's do it.
Oh, you have some guest stars in the background.
I know, my dogs. My gosh.
No, it's fine. You can have them on. We did a hangout for a show here on Oxygen called The Face with some of the supermodels, and they had their kids with them, and they were screaming and running all over them, and it was awesome. We
You're
always
lucky I don't have that.
Yeah. we're always interested in having guest stars, so feel free to bring them on if they don't mind. Okay, this is a Facebook question. This comes from Michaela Martinez. She says, she has just asked a very simple question. What's it like working with such talented people?
As far as the artists, or just all in general?
All in general, the whole show, all the talent and all the amazing people that have come together for such an awesome show for season 2.
You know what? I'm super lucky and blessed to work with such incredible people. I mean, I've met such nice people, good people. I can't even explain, just super lucky. So many talented artists here, and then some of the guest judges that we've had, celebrities that we've had on. Everybody's just so down to earth. There hasn't been any divas, for the most part, which has been
good.
Really good. Yeah, I've been lucky so far.
Yeah, so far. Now, speaking of divas, let's go back to tonight's episode, because whenever you and I talked the other day, I was like, by the way, I cannot wait to talk about this one particular incident that happened on tonight's episode. A lot of, Kelly is her name, right? The contestant.
Yes.
Was working on a tattoo, and her skin, Kimberly, was just micromanaging her and really just kind of telling her what to do. And it was driving me nuts the whole episode, I was like pausing, and I was like, I need her to just calm down. Like, let Kelly finish the tattoo. So when you weren't there whenever that was being filmed, I don't think, right?
No, but I was
you knew
there.
About it.
I did meet the girl because we do a judge's review, which they did not show on the episode tonight.
Okay.
That we met everybody, and so that's where I got to see the tattoos and meet the skin.
Right.
And, the girl was a nightmare. I felt so bad for Kelly, especially first episode. Are you kidding me?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Acts like that, it's like, yeah. I couldn't believe it. And I mean, at first I was like, is this staged? Is this something? But it wasn't. The girl was just, it was crazy. I can't even explain. I mean, I don't think it was probably my favorite tattoo. Right. But, dude, it still sucked that she didn't get a chance to finish it. Yeah. And the girl was just a nightmare. She couldn't sit. She did. I mean, I understand that she didn't like her tattoo, but you came on this show and you knew what you were getting into. It's like, you better shut your mouth and take it.
Yeah, and not to mention, didn't she sort of like sign off on the stencil? So like Kelly was working on it. So what exactly? I was so confused about what she didn't like about it.
It looked exactly like the stencil.
It did, absolutely.
She's putting it on. Obviously, there's more. You put the little extra details at the end, and she didn't get a chance to get to the end to put those extra details. So I truly felt bad for Kelly. And the girl, she was just, I can't believe she got up and left. I was like, really?
Yeah, because, like, what's the point? She's like, I don't want my life shattered all over my back. I'm like, well, then why'd you jump up out of the chair and run away from it,
Why would you go on TV and get a tattoo not knowing your artist and what you're doing if you were so worried about shattering your life?
Right, exactly. What a great point, Sabina. I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. So, okay, so that's, just to go back to that really fast, because it kind of really did bother me. I'm like, you're having a dancer with like ballet shoes holding a boombox. I mean, that's sort of setting up for a little bit of a disaster, isn't it? A little bit?
Yeah, it was kind of a mixture for sure.
Yeah.
Shut up, dogs.
What's that dog's name, by the way?
I think they hear you and they're like, whoa.
They're like, what's going on? What's that dog's name that's barking right now? What's its name?
Right. Yeah, I grew up being a dancer. I've been a professional dancer all my life. So ballet, hip hop, jazz, tap, all that I'm really into. So I kind of got the idea of, doing a pinup with the ballet shoes and a boombox, even though it's kind of a mix of different dance styles. But the whole thing was a mess. Yeah. And I felt bad for both of them, but I really felt bad for Kelly because that sucks. First episode.
Totally. So whenever you guys are sort of deliberating about, who's going to advance and who did a great job and who didn't, is this the type of situation that you hold against the artist, or is it something where you realize the situation and you're like, okay, she didn't have a chance to finish the tattoo, so it's not really her problem? What is it?
It's a little bit of both, because being an artist, you have to be strong enough to put your foot down and say, I'm the artist here. Yeah. Sit your butt down and let me do my work.
And that's what Hannah was saying to her in the
And that's right. Hannah's right on that. You gotta, like she said, I think, put your big girl boots on or your big girl panties on and handle it. You can't let your skin control you. If you're the artist, you need to tell them, this is my style, this is what I do. I mean, she saw the drawing beforehand, and you just kind of have to trust your artist. That's what they're there for. And obviously, they are good enough if they're on the show. You know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, totally.
They're not just some Joe Schmo off the street that, can't do anything. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the show.
Right, so totally. These are some of the best artists in the country coming to compete for a huge prize, so it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's take another question. This is from Matt. He says, Sabina, who are the best tattoo artists in the country? Are there certain artists that are really standing out? Well, obviously everyone on Best Ink 2 is really standing out. But anybody else? Anybody else?
That aren't on the show? Is that what he's pretty much asking?
I think so, yeah.
Some of my favorite artists are Chewy Quintanar. I mean, he did my neck just recently.
Ooh,
the network doesn't know that yet. Okay. No, that's brand new. Franco Vescovi, he's doing my entire back. He's absolutely incredible. Those are my top two favorite artists right now, for sure.
That's awesome. Very good. Another Facebook question we took that was posted recently was from Drew Albrecht. He says, what was your favorite modeling gig? Now, you have a sort of a history in modeling for those who might not, who might be tuning in for the first time. Talk a little bit about that and maybe what your favorite gig was.
I've been modeling professionally for about 10 years now. Pinup style is what I'm the most known for. But as far as my best, like most memorable favorite modeling gig, I probably have to say is working with David LaChapelle. I mean, he's probably one of the most amazing photographers in the world, one of the most well-known. Crazy stories and crazy stuff that's happened on the shoots that I've done with him, but it's definitely probably one of the most memorable. I mean, I've worked with him a few times, but...
Now, are any of those crazy things you can talk about on air, or are they sort of a little bit too... Yeah, I was going to say, they seemed a little R-rated whenever you were saying that. That's
right.
Okay. That's okay. Another question, this is from Amanda Wood, one of your fans here at Oxygen. She says, you travel all over the world. What is downtime like for you, Sabina?
Downtime, I'm a pretty normal person. I've got 3 kids, so I'm a mom. You know, I'm doing homework with the little ones, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, being a mom, you know, but I'm traveling all over the world, and I'm out of the state probably at least once a week. But my kids go with me once in a while to places. I wish I could take them with me more. Now they're getting a little bit older. They're still, I mean, they're still pretty little, but when they get a little older.
Yeah, totally. How old are they right now?
My daughter Savannah's 11, my son Caden's 9, and my littlest Graceland's 4.
Oh, that's so sweet. So what's going to happen, you know, when your kids get a little bit older and they're like, oh, mommy has some of these really nice tattoos. Do you have anything in your head, like, prepared to say to them, you know, like you have to be a certain age, or what is your philosophy on that?
I definitely think that they need to be 18, you know, just like it is normally to get tattooed. It is here. But I don't think they're going to want them. Usually you don't want what your mom and dad have. You want what they have. So I'm not too worried about it right now. I mean, my littlest thinks she's, you know, a tattoo artist right now, and she draws all over herself with Sharpies, or she'll take tattoos and put them all over and is constantly trying to be just like me. But
that's so funny.
I mean, they're not taking it that serious, you know. My oldest is like tattooed the whole SpongeBob scene on my son's back with the black Sharpie before, and that's stayed for a while. But I mean, it's just fun and games for kids. They love it. You know? Yeah,
that sounds awesome. No, I'm so afraid of needles, so I would have to do the Sharpie thing. Absolutely could not do needles. What is your advice for people like me who might be interested in the tattoo culture and the artistry and might be thinking about getting a tattoo but are like petrified of needles and like pain? Like, I have no pain threshold, Sabina. It's ridiculous.
Well, you know what? It's like a different. I'm scared of getting shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
You're scared when you're heavily tattooed, but it's just a different feeling. I really truly say, like, don't get tattooed unless you truly know what you want and that you've thought about it for a while. I mean, I do tattoo removal, so you can take them off, but I definitely don't recommend it, and I don't encourage it. Like, if you get a tattoo, I think you should get it thinking you're going to have it on you for the rest of your life. Obviously, people make mistakes. And, you know, I've lasered one off myself, you know, so what I mean, but for the most part, like, it's permanent. So I think you should really think about it. It should be something that means something to you. I don't think it should be something that you go and you, like, point to something off the wall and be like, I want that tattoo, you know? No.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's a very interesting outlook on it. So which of your tattoos was, like, the most painful to get? Which, by the way, you have so many amazing, gorgeous tattoos.
Apes.
Yeah.
I would probably say inside of my arm, that, I don't know why, for some reason that hurt me the most out of everything. I mean, right now I have full sleeves, I have my neck, my knuckles, my whole back, and the tops of my feet. So I don't have anything anywhere else, though.
That's amazing. Do you think you'll ever get to a point where you're like, okay, enough is enough, I won't have any more tattoos? Or do you think that you're going to continue until, like, your whole body is covered in tattoos?
Honestly, I'm almost pretty much finished. I don't think I want any tattoos on my chest or on my legs. I just feel like chest and legs are a beautiful part of a woman. And I don't know, it's, at least especially right now when I'm still doing modeling stuff, I feel like it'll hurt me more than help me. I mean, I've obviously took a lot of chances being as heavily tattooed as I am right now, and like just doing my neck was a huge jump too. I mean, I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, what is she doing? You know what I mean? That was just a big jump. But you know what? I don't know. We'll see, because I definitely take my time. I don't just go make drastic decisions and just go get covered right away. I've taken a long time with my tattoos, and I've really thought about each of them before I've done it. So I don't regret it.
Very good. So to take away from this, you're saying make sure you know what you want before you go and get one, and then you regret it, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay, so by the way, if you're listening or just tuning in or watching from an iPad or your home or wherever you are, if you want to ask Sabina a question or add a comment about Sabina or her beautiful tattoos or the Best Ink 2 season premiere that just aired on the East Coast, use hashtag Best Ink Hangout on both Google Plus and Twitter, and we will read it on air right here. So actually, we have another one. This is from Kiki Michael XO, or sorry, Kiki Michelle XO. Sorry, I can't really read. She says, a more personal question for the lovely Sabina. Do you have a favorite tattoo? If so, why is it your favorite? I suspect you probably get this a lot. So,
you know what? I really like all my tattoos. It's hard to like just pick an absolute favorite. I'm trying to think. I really like my housewife tattoo. That's one of my favorites. Like a lot of people are like, what does that say on your knuckles? And I did it because I'm half German, so that's why it's housewife. And I kind of did it being a smart ass because my ex-husband wanted me to quit modeling and stay home and be a housewife. And I was like, well, when I'm not traveling, I am a housewife. You know, I take care of it. But it's like, why would I drop my dream and what I'm good at to just be a housewife? So yeah, I was kind of being a smartass. I had Mr. Cartoon do it in LA, and I really like it.
Yeah, that's like such an awesome girl power story. I love that because look at you now. You're judging on Best Ink, so there you go. Yeah. Yeah, very awesome. Okay, please keep your questions coming using hashtag Best Ink Hangout, and we will read them on air. We have about another, 15, 20 minutes left. Which one of your tattoos took the longest amount of time to decide upon? You just mentioned, make sure you know what you want and how you get it, things like that. Which one sort of took a long time to come to terms with whether you were going to get it or not?
Honestly, my right arm is like, it's a tattoo. It's like a tattooed geisha. It's Japanese style, but with a twist of traditional. That was a huge one that I took probably about a year to completely draw up and design and get tattooed. Only because I'd only had one full sleeve and I was getting messed with by all the photographers and modeling saying, if you do your other arm, we're not going to shoot you anymore. And at that time, there weren't girls modeling that were heavily tattooed. So that was a big jump to turn around and do my other arm and take that risk of never being able to model again. But, I wasn't going to sit there and let somebody tell me what I can and can't do. If that's what I wanted to do, I was going to do it. If I didn't model again, I really didn't care, honestly. I was just whatever.
Totally, and again, girl power to you, do what you want to do.
Right.
How long did it take for you to fill your sleeves all the way? From start to finish.
Probably like 10 years. Honestly.
Wow,
yeah.
really?
I took it slow. I took it really slow. I did piece by piece because with modeling, I couldn't have an unfinished piece on me.
Right.
So I would a lot of artists will lay out the entire sleeve first, the outline, and then do the shading, and the color. But I had to do each of my tattoos piece by piece, so I didn't have any unfinished, images on me at any point in time.
Yeah, that's interesting. So do you remember where you got every single one of your tattoos? Can you point to any one of them and be like, oh, I got it at this place? That's awesome.
They all have a story. They all have a meaning. I remember exactly where everything was, and they're all special to me.
Now, are there any, sorry, not to really go into your every single tattoo that you have, but are there any tattoos that you sort of regretted or any that you sort of wish maybe you would have tweaked or changed a little bit?
I mean, there's always, especially if you're heavily tattooed, there's always going to be tattoos from the earlier days that, you're going to look at and be like, oh, why did I do that? But then it's it's part of my life, and it is a funny story, obviously, because I wouldn't have gotten tattooed if it didn't mean something. So I kind of just have to look at it and laugh and be like, whatever. That was when I was this age. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can't really say I really regret any of them. So
yeah, that's good though. If you say you can't regret them, then that's awesome.
It's my life, so
totally. All right. And so, what do you say to people that shun tattoos? Because tattoos sort of have this stigma of being meaning something larger or gang related or whatever people come up with these stereotypes. What do you have to say, especially being a woman? Not that they're sort of I'm not trying to be sexist in any way, but it seems like this is more of a men's culture. What do you have to say to people that are sort of shunning the people that have tattoos? I mean, do you ever have to deal with that in your everyday life?
I deal with it a lot, actually. There's still a lot of closed-minded people. Even though it's a lot more acceptable to have tattoos these days, it's still not as acceptable for women to have.
Right.
And especially to be heavily tattooed and be a woman, you kind of get looked down upon. I mean, I get it all the time when I go to the airport and stuff. People look down at me and I'm like, whatever, I'm in first class. Look at you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you know, and they try to, I mean, and it's just like, I'm a really polite person and I've got really good manners. And so it actually kind of surprises people sometimes because I think they expect me to be a total bitch. I don't know, something. They told me to be like all tough and stuff. And, you know, it's not like that. You know, I love to prove that you can still be beautiful and classy and a woman and successful and be heavily tattooed. I mean, I don't want to be looked upon as one of those trashy girls that has tattoos that's, you know, naked all over the internet and just dirty, trashy, gross. You know, that's not me. And I don't ever want to be looked upon like that.
No, totally. That's such a great response because I have a lot of really close friends that have a lot of tattoos, and a couple of my very close girlfriends have tattoos, and they've experienced it, and they are nowhere near as heavily tattooed as you. So I'm like, you know, here you with 2 full sleeves. I can only imagine the type of, you know, response you're getting.
Right.
Okay, let's ask another question. And again, if you want to ask Sabina a question or have a comment, use hashtag #BestInkHangout and we will read them. This one is from Twitter user JenJT. She says, what are your views on tattoo artists without tattoos? That's a really good question.
Ooh, honestly, I don't really trust tattoo artists that are not tattooed because I feel like, I mean, I wouldn't personally just because it's like, why wouldn't you get tattooed if you're a tattoo artist? Why, you know, it's like, why are you hiding? I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, I'm sure there are amazing tattoo artists out there that are not tattooed. I just think it's really strange, honestly. I really do. It's
kind of bizarre. It's like being a painter but have, you know, maybe never used a paintbrush or something like crazy like that.
I got something weird though because I'm heavily tattooed and I take tattoos off. I do tattoo removal.
Okay, so you're kind of the same thing.
You know, that's kind of the same thing, but but the reason why I feel like that's a good thing though is because a lot of people that are heavily tattooed that go in to get tattoos removed get looked down upon by doctors and stuff, and especially if they have like racist stuff on them or things that, you know, are not very acceptable. I don't look down upon them. I'm heavily tattooed. I don't look down upon that. But a lot of, you know, high-end people like doctors and stuff like that look at them like they're scumballs, and I make them feel a lot more comfortable than people like that. So. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's really cool. I want to ask you, this is a question from me. I'm just curious, as we're talking about, you know, shaming tattoos, what are your thoughts about the lower back tattoos that are sort of labeled as a, you know,
tramp stamp?
I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that's what a lot of people call it. What are your thoughts on that? Is that
they're terrible.
Yeah, okay, good. Here you go. You're hearing it from Sabina.
I mean, you know, that's probably one of the biggest tattoos that I remove the most is tramp stamps, tribal, and names. Those are the top 3 for sure. Okay. And, I mean, getting tattooed down there hurts. So that's probably why a lot of the girls that have just their tramp stamp tattooed and all they have tattooed, that's not a fun place to get tattooed. Like, I just recently, just because my back is almost completely finished, I just recently got my lower back and right above my butt, like right on my butt, tattooed. So that it hurts. It stings right there, pretty bad.
Yeah, I can imagine getting it removed is probably just as, you know, grueling or whatever.
It hurts for sure.
Very good. Okay, we have another question from a Twitter user. This is from DJ Billy Boy Brad. Do you own a hot rod or classic car? And I think that this is related to your pinup status type thing.
Do I own one? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I actually own a '65 Impala, so I'm really into the whole hot rod scene, but I love lowriders. They're my favorite. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. And again, if you want to ask Sabina a question, use hashtag #BestInkHangout on Google Plus or Twitter, and we will read it. Okay, let's go back to the show. Thank you for sort of, you know, letting us into your life a little bit there. I appreciate it. How will season 2 be like bigger and badder? You know, Pete Wentz, and we'll get to that in just a second because I want to hear your thoughts about Pete. But what about Vesting season 2 is going to be bigger and badder than last season?
Well, we have a lot more crazy challenges. We've got Flash Cash this time where they win money this time, so they get even more into it, you know, because they're winning bigger stuff.
Right.
We have 10 episodes instead of 8. We've got 12 artists instead of 10, so the competition's a lot harder, you know, going head-to-head to win, to be best ink and, you know, coveted coveted title of Best Ink and cover of Tattoo Magazine. So it's just got, you know what I mean? It's just got that extra vibe that it's the second season, so it's a little tougher. Yeah. You know, a lot more, you know, Joe and I are a lot more comfortable. We brought Hannah Aitchison on and then Pete Wentz. So the four of us just,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. So, you know, this season we have Pete Wentz, who is obviously extremely popular and very tattooed. What has it been like working with him, and what is the vibe? I mean, I loved watching him on tonight's episode. I thought he was really great. He seemed really comfortable, and obviously with all the tattoos that he has a lot of experience with, like, maybe even a little bit of judging and critiquing. What has the season been like, like, you know, from the beginning to the end? Because you guys are done filming, right?
Yeah, we're done filming.
Cool. Yeah.
Pete's great. He's so much fun. Super down to earth, total sweetheart. It was kind of funny because we had a different host first season, and her and I got along really well, and I know a lot of people had a hard time with her because she was not heavily tattooed, but she was an incredible host. She'd hosted all kinds of things.
Oh, yeah.
But Pete's heavily tattooed and has a huge fan base, you know, a Fall Out Boy. So he came in and, you know, we figured, oh, he's not going to know anything about tattoos, you know?
Yeah.
It took him, I think he was a little uncomfortable with all of us, maybe the first episode or two. You know, I think he was a little nervous and had to get comfortable, but as soon as he got comfortable, he killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Awesome. He was a lot of fun to work with.
Now, do you guys get to see, like, whenever you were filming throughout the season, did you see much of him, or, you know, was it only during, you know, filming or whatever?
We saw him. We hung out. He was in our dressing room all the time, you know what I mean? Getting his hair and makeup done, and like we all went to dinner a couple times. I mean, we all hung out too. It wasn't just like, oh, we were working and we'd run off when we weren't on stage. Like, we all got along really well. It wasn't. There's not conflicts with any of us. So
awesome. That's good to know. Did you know Pete at all before he came onto the show, or had you met him before?
I had never personally met Pete. Like, I knew who he was. I actually shot the MTV Video Music Awards billboard with Fall Out Boy in like 2007 with David LaChapelle. So like, I did that with him, but I never personally met him, you know. So it was cool to, you know, meet him.
That's so awesome. Here's a question from Google Plus users Vanessa and Jeremy. They say, how does Best Ink choose the skins on the show? Maybe that's not a question for you. It might be a production.
You know what? Honestly, I'm not the best person to ask for that. I believe they have auditions for it, or not auditions. I think they put postings up for it. I could be totally wrong, but I think that they put postings up for it, and you know, submit like what you want, or they say, oh, we need people that want this style of tattoo, and then you know, they probably just kind of do castings on it.
Yeah, very cool. So Joe seems to be bringing a lot of intensity to this season, a lot like last season from what I've seen. What is it like to work with him? Is he as intense, you know, to be around as he seems to portray on the show?
Joe,
or is he like a big teddy bear? I was just going to say, is he like a big teddy bear? That's funny.
You know what? He's very, very opinionated, but he's got a lot of experience, and he's very smart, and he knows what he's talking about, and you know, you got to respect that. And he just lays it out like it is. He doesn't hold back, and I think that's what's hard for people, is that he's brutally honest, and that's how you have to be on this show. I mean, it's hard for me to be brutally honest about it, because I'm not a tattoo artist, but I've owned tattoo shops. I've done tattoo removal. I'm heavily tattooed. I'm the biggest tattooed model. You know, it's like, I know what I'm talking about too. And to have Joe on there, I mean, he's definitely, I mean, he's scared producers for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's scaring me.
But I mean, I was in the same hotel with him both seasons, you know, working with him every night and every day and all that. And he's a sweetheart. I mean, he's great.
He seems like one of those types that's very intense about his work, but can be a very caring and lovable person, you know.
And I mean, they edit too, so
that's true.
They probably edit him to be a little more hardcore than he always is. He's not always that harsh. So
well, that's good to know, because I was watching the what is it, the preview or whatever for this season, and he was like screaming, "I would have fired you guys by now," and I was like, okay, yeah. I was like,
fired all them, and he said that. I heard it.
It's so funny. Okay, so let's go back to DJ, because I wanted to ask you, how important is the placement of a tattoo? Because on tonight's episode, we saw him make a very interesting decision. We saw his skin sort of had some issues with, you know, self-harm, and he decided to end up putting his tattoo on her calf. And I thought, that's an interesting move, because if she wanted it on her arm, but he insists on her calf, is that going to be some sort of issue, you know, that he's not listening to the skin? What are your thoughts about his decision to do that? And overall, in general, for anyone watching at home, what is the importance of the placement of a tattoo?
I personally think placement is extremely important. He made the right decision on that. I believe, I'm trying to remember, she had a bunch of cuts on her arm, and that's like scarring-wise,
right.
The tattoo looked like crap, you know, and he decided to make that decision to make the tattoo look the best, and I think the girl agreed upon it as soon as she saw how incredible that tattoo was once it was on her. As the best decision he could have made, because I don't think it would have looked that great, not even close to as great as it was if it was on her arm where she wanted it. So I think that was the best decision for sure. I
completely agree. Not that I'm a judge on best ink. You know, I'm not trying to steal your job, Sabina, but I would just, yeah, I just thought that, you know, on the calf it looked so much better, and he had, you know, like the skin that was like, you know, I don't want to say fresh, but it was not scarred the way that her arm was. And I think that the whole tattoo just turned out beautifully.
It was gorgeous, for
yeah,
sure.
Totally. Okay, so what are your thoughts about the eliminated contestant tonight? Carolyn, you know, she said that she didn't have enough time to sort of work on the detail. I mean, do you think that that was the right decision to send her home, or just did you think somebody else should have gone home in the episode 1?
No, I definitely think it was the right decision. I mean, I was part of that decision, so
right.
Obviously it sucks to be the first person to go, and she probably didn't really get to show everything she could do. I'm sure she was absolutely nervous, but she got a horror piece, and that is what she is into the most. She should have shined with that one, you know. If that's her style, she should have killed it. So I don't feel that bad about it, honestly. I mean, that's her chance to shine, and whether you're nervous or not, this is a competition, and that's what everyone's there for.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that when Joe was sort of going through and like checking out everyone's, you know, situation, what they were doing, she was like, "Oh yeah, I got really lucky," and then she ended up losing the whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's too bad."
But if you remember, he even asked her like the direction she was going in. She's like, "I don't know," and I'm like, "How do you not know what direction you're going? Doing a tattoo on somebody, like this is not a joke. You're on a TV show right now, and you're doing a permanent tattoo on somebody, but you don't know the direction you're going. You know, you don't know the colors you're using. I mean, that's kind of scary, honestly. Like, get off me."
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. I think everyone at home was probably like, "How do you not know the direction you're going when you've already started the tattoo?"
Right. I mean, she is a total sweetheart. I ended up getting to work with her later on, and she's great. But it's just, you know, it's a competition.
Yeah. So speaking of, we know that there's a redemption series that's going to be happening, and you're going to be judging that, right?
I'm the host and the judge. It is my show.
Nice. Look at you. You got your own show.
Yeah.
Very good. So we can't talk about who, obviously, next week's contestant that's eliminated is.
Right.
Who that will be. But will Carolyn be going up against? Yeah, you don't remember it. That was a while ago. What do you know? Will Carolyn be going up against that person for the redemption? Because this redemption series, which is found on oxygen.com, by the way, will kick off next week after episode 2, where the eliminated contestant tonight, Carolyn, and next week's eliminated contestant will sort of have a redemption moment, and whoever wins based off of your judgment will move on to the next round for a chance to win $5,000. So there's a nice little thing. So what are your thoughts about that? I mean, obviously you can't give too much away, but what can you tell us about the redemption series?
Honestly, redemption's awesome because I didn't get as much of a chance to deal with the artist as, say, Joe did. He got to be there on the days they were tattooing. I just got to see it once they were done and check out everything and then meet the skins and and talk to the artist and stuff. So I feel like that was the time I really got to meet the artists, even, that was when they're already off the show. So I got to see their real true styles and their real personalities, and it was a lot more calm there, since it was just one-on-one in the competition. I was the only judge and I was the only host, and obviously I'm a lot nicer on the show than Joe is, so I don't scare
That's a
the
good way of
artist
putting it, yes.
Yeah, and so I feel like redemption was fun. We had so much fun. Every episode of Redemption we did, we had a blast. I can't even explain. So I feel like the artists felt a lot more comfortable, and you'll get to see their personalities a lot more while they're in a more comfortable environment instead of being like time, and stress. I mean, even though there still is that, it's not as bad as it is on the show. So you get to see a whole other side of everybody. You get to see more of me and my side and personality too than just being, a hard judge. You get to see me being goofy and me being, the host and, all that stuff. So it's fun. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited to see how they edit it, considering it's just, they're really small. I think it's like 8 minutes long or something. Yeah,
they're not entire episodes the way sort of the series is, yeah.
And it's webisodes, correct?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fun. They win 5,000. They get a chance to redeem themselves.
Yeah. Well, the one great thing about this season I've noticed compared to last season is there's a lot more opportunities for money for these contestants,
Yes.
Like they're going to be rich by the end of it regardless of who wins or not. So.
Right. Well, I think it's because last season, they started to turn against the network on things because they were like, I don't care, you know what I mean? And so I think it's like you had to have more something for them to gain.
Totally.
Or step it up and not turn on the network and be like, I don't care, I'll leave.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, and plus everything that you can win this season, I'm like, wow, that's like really serious stuff for any artist. That's a really cool thing. Awesome. Right. Okay, let's. If you have any last questions for Sabina, again, use hashtag #BestInkHangout on Google Plus or Twitter. We do have another question. This is from Lauren here at Oxygen. She says, do young celebrities like Justin Bieber getting so many tattoos at such a young age worry you? Is it too much too fast at such a young age? This is a great question because when celebrities get new tattoos, it's almost like big breaking news, and we're seeing it all over the internet. What are your thoughts about Justin Bieber and maybe like his youth,
Honestly, I don't know all of Justin Bieber's tattoos. Sorry, I'm not.
You're not a Justin Bieber expert, Sabina?
Tell me what all his tattoos are.
Yeah.
I know he's been getting some, but I mean, he's just learning himself, honestly. You know what I mean? He's grown up in the eyes of the world here, and he's learning himself and growing into himself. So I don't feel like he's getting too covered too fast. I mean, if he was going straight for his neck and hands and didn't have any anywhere it's I'd be like, oh, hold off. You know what I mean? But like, I don't think he's doing anything wrong. And it's just, I don't know that many celebrities that are heavily, heavily tattooed. I mean, there's a few, but like there really, truly isn't. So they just make a big deal out of them getting anything,
Right, exactly,
too. So
yeah, totally.
I went to the NBC party last season, and they were like, "Oh my God," because I was wearing a dress and I was heavily tattooed. I stood out like a sore thumb. So
oh yeah,
the only one not in a little black dress, and I was heavily tattooed. So.
That's amazing. So speaking of celebrities, do you have any favorite tattoos of celebrities that like maybe while people are watching at home could Google image or something?
No, I really like Eminem.
Yeah, that's interesting, yeah.
But he's got tattoos by Mr. Cartoon, who I have mad respect for.
Yeah.
Obviously
Pete Wentz has a lot of really great ones as well.
Yeah, Pete Wentz has some too, for sure.
Yeah, very good.
Travis Barker, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, Travis Barker. That's a good point. And he has a lot of like neck tattoos that are really visible and really cool looking.
He's covered.
Yeah. So one last question here, and again, if you want to ask a question as we wrap up, use hashtag #BestInkHangout on Google Plus or Twitter. I want to ask you, how would you explain your judging style? Is it going to be different this season compared to last season, or will we see the same Sabina that we saw in season 1?
I would say my judging style is a little harsher than last season. I'm definitely not as harsh as Joe, but I'm definitely looking for placement's a huge thing for me. Great shading, clean lines. Size-wise of the tattoo, and if they really listen to what the skin wants and they do what their skin wants and the skin likes their tattoo, there's a lot, because I think the artists have to be well-rounded artists in general. It can't just be like, I'm a great Japanese tattoo artist. They've got to be able to do all these styles to be considered best ink.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just about the tattoos, which is cool. It's, they have to be able to draw and paint and like tonight they have to be able to use spray cans and do graffiti style stuff. Like that's a lot of stuff that some artists have never ever done before. So it tests you for sure.
I was just going to say that. I meant to mention that when we first started, the Flash Challenge or whatever, where they were doing the graffiti hanging on the walls. And I have a friend that's like very heavily tattooed, and I was like, this is going to sound really weird, but if you're a tattoo artist, are you automatically really good at graffiti? And they were like, no, not necessarily. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, so that was interesting to see their artistic level when they're giving just like a spray can, spray paint.
That's what's cool is they get tested there with all different styles of art, and it just shows their complete artist abilities. And there were people on there tonight that had never touched a spray can before, trying to do graffiti style art, and so funny. I mean, you can even see it dripping down and stuff on the thing because they didn't know how to do it right so it wasn't dripping down. But.
Yeah, and there were a lot of creative things too. Like one of I can't remember exactly who it was, had like the umbrella underneath the dripping paint from the one.
That was Jared, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so smart.
I coordinated the tattoo, the one above into his piece.
Yeah.
He's very smart. Very smart.
Yeah, very smart.
His dress is all smart too.
Yes, he does. You're right. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you so much, Sabina, for joining us tonight. You're out partying. Are you going to head back to the premiere party?
I'm not sure if it's, it might still be going on. I think we might be going somewhere else.
Uh-oh. It's the after party for you then.
Exactly.
Very good. So any last words, any last things you want to comment on with Best Inc. Season 2? Don't give anything away, but any sort of what we can expect or what we should be excited for this season?
Honestly, this season's awesome. A lot of really cool things in store, cool celebrities that are going to be on. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for Redemption, only because I feel like that's something brand new that wasn't last season, and I'm a big part of that this season. So I think just stick with it. It's awesome. Wait till you see. It's going to definitely shock you. There's a lot of things that happen this season. Drama, not made up drama, real drama, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we saw some of that in the sneak peek earlier tonight, so I'm really excited about it. And make sure you're following Best Inc. on Twitter at @best_Inc. We'll be tweeting out and making sure everyone knows about the Redemption series hosted and judged by our own Sabina Kelley. And you can follow us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/bestinc. Thank you so much, Sabina. It's been so much fun. And if you're watching from home, don't forget you can check out some sneak peeks of next week's episode on oxygen.com, plus tons of awesome bonus footage, including one sneak peek that shows someone potentially misspelling a word on someone's skin, which is going to be a big issue, I suspect. Yeah,
I want to go watch these previews. I don't remember. Yeah. We filmed back in November and December, so it's hard to, I know it's easy to remember it. But
yeah, well, head over to oxygen.com. They're over there right now, so. All right. Thanks, Sabina. Have a great night, and congratulations on your big Season 2 premiere. Yay!
Thank you.
All right. I'll catch you later. Talk to you later.
All right. See you later.